Hey guys, welcome to the woods. Well, sun's just going down. I don't think it's going to be any kind of a sunset because there's no clouds really. But anyway, what a beautiful evening, and what a freshly cut grass. I was like, I'm usually in those woods, but I'm like, I'm going out on the grass because nobody's out here. I don't know why. It's Friday afternoon, evening. Anyway, what am I thinking about? Thinking about I had a tough time the last few days kind of getting out here. Didn't make a video for a few days. And I can't just like, I got to step into the woods. I take that back. It depends how much other stuff I have going. So I'm sort of sharing this because I'm sure everybody kind of has some version of the same thing. When you get busy, take on something else to do, you better really love it. Otherwise, you're just doing yourself a disservice. Now, you may want to focus on loving it, like it is the way it's supposed to be, or it is the way it is. I'm just really busy, I work a lot. And really love then what you're doing and be 100% focused on working. And that sense of tuned in, tapped in, turned on, loving on yourself that I'm talking about, that applies to the work. So just integrate it. Don't go walking like me in the middle of the afternoon. I didn't do this for many years. I've only done it, 57. So like the last, really I was mountain biking racing 2 years ago. I never would walk through these woods. I would ride my bike, and mostly in the woods, but both on this grass. I've had races right on this grass, actually, speak of the devil. Yeah, cyclocross. But anyway, my point is, whatever you're doing, double down on it. Aww. See you next year. I know, like I walk out of my back door and this is what I have. And I moved into the city. I know, it doesn't make sense. It's pretty good. We had some baseball fields near my old house, in Towson. But anyhow, but that's not like this. Whew, not even close. All right, back to point. Trying to appreciate all the moments that have passed since the last time I was really able to be with myself, and thank myself for the things that I've accomplished. Thanks for the efforts I've put into things. Same thank you for the softness which I've interpreted what's going on around me, and lack of judgment of myself and anything around me that I've encountered. And then it's like, all right, well, I haven't made a video for a few days, haven't been able to get out much, and it's been a little bit busier than I like. But I then just have to kind of focus on the busyness that I've invited into my world. I never know specifically. I'm not going to look for the specifics of, but anyway, we won't go into all that detail yet. But that busyness that has just come up for whatever good reason is what I got to love on. Whatever I'm doing in that busyness is really the focus. Yes, I want to spend time in my quiet space by myself, sifting through and letting my brain, my little inner child, express whatever wants to come up, like, however you feel about where things are going. Not details, but just, do I feel like everything is always working out for me? Do I feel that today? Not all day. I can catch it usually in the morning, and then I like to get something in the midday, and then the afternoon, Anyway, it's perfect time right now, and it's a perfect day. But I haven't been out for a couple of days, so that's where I got a little rub. I'm like, I got to love on myself and love on my experience more. And it's not hard, really. I'm just sort of drawing out the point. But how much do we, here's my dig. How much time and effort do we focus into that art? The art of allowing your brain to just, it's like enough meditation where you're just quieted mind. Throughout the day, you find quiet, peaceful mind, no intention, no complaint, no fuss, no to-do list going in your head. Just being with whatever is. See the sound effects you get when you come in the city, though? It's nice. It knows that, you know something's going on. It's like, good. Everybody's busy. Because we want to be busy. We want something to do. This is part of my point. But stay focused on something that's the most important. Otherwise, there's so many options out there for distraction in life. There's so many things you could be drawing your attention to, right? I mean, we all know that. So, I think it's important to focus on getting more synchronized or more focused, I would say, but it's the same word I'm just using, but more, I don't know, cross everything off your list but the number one thing, and that's basically the technique. Don't try to do so much. You might change into other things and evolve into other things, and don't do something for the sake of, you say, well, I'm doing something and I'm really focused on it, but it's that busyness. I'm trying to do just one thing that you really are drawn to do, that you really feel so inspired about, and that's my gift to the planet, that type of thing. When you've got that kind of thing, which it could still be, managing people or moving product or production or working with your hands or building or fixing or servicing or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you're bringing to the planet, you want it from that level. What am I bringing to the planet? Is this my highest ideal? And then just focus on that one thing and get rid of all of that other distraction and use all that extra time, the time when you're not listening to other people tell you what they think about you and not listening to other people that are trying to, sell you, entertain you, whatever. But especially not people who are giving you a sense of something's going wrong. I'm trying to hold the feeling, as we all are, that everything's always working out for me. I'm not chosen as in special. We're all chosen. But I'm awake, and I'm aware of my situation around me. I'm aware of my present moment, and I no longer have fear, so I don't really care what comes down the pipe for me. It doesn't matter. I'll always be with a person or some people or somewhere, or trying to ignore that something feels uncomfortable to me, whether it's a physical ailment or whatever it is. It's whatever challenge in life brings you. You weather it best if you're in tune with your moment, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, as I like to say. If you can get into that space and that mindset for more hours of the day, more perfecter, I think that's the word I was looking for. The more perfecter way of doing it would be to do it a few times throughout the day, and get a sense, take some time. And I like to, definitely between those events throughout the day, I definitely want to sneak in some other times of just getting aware of my breath. Sometimes other people are talking, or I'm watching something or listening or sitting, whatever. Traffic light comes up, just randomly throughout the day. Be conscious of your breath and let it roll at that pace that you know it should be, or that you feel most loved in. And you put that pace on it and you see, wow, it took me a while to get to that pace, number one. Number two, it's not coming naturally. I feel a little tight, a little bit busy in my mind, whatever. So we all have that, but that's what we're trying to move away from. I'm always trying to give it as two feelings. Which one are you leaning towards? Because you're not trying to, that's why Abraham Hicks calls it the art of allowing. I think that's really the way to boil it down. You're allowing the experience that's just outside of you in this magical ethers, vortex, soul, whatever you want to version it as. But the area of pure potentiality is how it's often referred to too. Everything is possible just outside of your experience. It's just, what are you allowing into your life? What are you allowing to be? And that's what you want to be doing once you quiet your mind. So once you quiet your mind and you're comfortably being quiet, and you're comfortable being by yourself, because you've passed on all those things that were keeping you busy before, that other than that one thing that you really do because that's your gift to the planet. You focus on that one thing, you get rid of all the others, you spend all the other possible time. When you're not doing that one thing, you're in your own perfect headspace. With people around you sometimes, without people around you sometimes. But with people around you sometimes is conditional. Not because you want them to be different, but you're going to appear as who you really are, not who you think each one of those people wants you to be. And we don't really think about that, but we all do it. We're all a slightly different energy around different people out of this group of people that you're normally around. Your employer, other employees, your neighbor, your spouse. You have a different energy with each one of them, and you pop up as so it's a challenge to us raising our personal vibration. if we have to turn up the same with all the same people. That's why change in your life is a good thing, you know. But you don't need to change, but it's always, because it's just a matter of loving the energy that you're in and appreciating the people that are around you. But really that comes from appreciating yourself. So let's play that one out. I always talk about that, right? It's the self-love, self-worth. So you hold a lot of self-love and self-worth, and what happens? When you're around other people, you don't get affected by what you think they want you to appear as. You just own who you are because you know you're worthy of becoming and being whoever you want to be out there, which won't be about like, go run around trying to convince everybody that you're, now something other than you really feel comfortable considering yourself as. Is that a way to say it? Yeah. So the point would be just loving on yourself and building on your sense of worthiness gives you a stronger sense of ability to allow things into your life and allow things to just be as they are. It takes a little bit of inner strength, takes a little bit of push to get to that point where you feel it and you say, yeah, when I just allow things to be the way they are, it's always better for me, and I can grow and I can work on that one main thing that I know I'm really good at, that not my like to-do thing, but my to-be thing. That version of myself that I hold as my highest ideal does do things. But it's the being part. It's the mindset. It's the dedication not to doing, but to allowing myself the freedom to just be in my little world. No to-do list, no thinking about, worrying about the past. Not that you're blocking the past. You're in that point where if the past comes up, you just love on it. And you just say, wasn't that a tricky time? But man, what a good job you did. And now I look back at it with my new sense of myself now and the paradigm of what I see coming. That past is so much easier to interpret more accurately, that it was all perfect and there was never any danger of anything going wrong. So many people are so locked down on, I know a few good things to watch out for, and here's things that went wrong for me type of stuff. A lot of people hold that, and it's such a dominant part of the dialogue that it's really sad. I don't want to call it sad, but sad. So that's why I feel like I'm working on this, and I know I'm moving along for sure, and really have been working on it for like 40 years, but I don't want to say it's a 40-year process. I didn't really work on it until after my kids are grown, and I took some things off my list, and I got to the point where I could walk somewhere in the middle of the day, and it just got, longer and more time. But honestly, really I'd have to say, I wasn't really planning to go down this line, but I really honestly have to say there definitely was always an interest ever since I was very young to be focused on my spirituality. So I thought, maybe some religious type, person. But anyway, that's not so important. But I always, whenever I heard about this sort of new age spirituality, any of this type of stuff, how your mind works, I was always locking onto it. So I just knew it was always my thing. I never saw anyone else lock onto it or really even ask questions about it. I'd read so little in my life of anything. But I've read so much of this kind of stuff. Because back when I was young, that's all you could do was read about it. And you have to take it slow in the process. But now, people like myself, and there's so many people out there now that are talking about their spiritual journey and how to get on it. Because the planet's in the right spot on its 24,000-year journey around the galaxy. And it's like seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. And there are points where we're coming up through spring, and we're energetically, that is, as a planet, through the 24,000-year journey around the galaxy. And that's all known stuff. And so there's vibrationally seasons, though. And we're becoming in more harmony with our planet and with ourselves. This quietness is going within, this tuned in, tapped in, turned on, is an understanding that everybody has now because it's in the ethers. You can't, it's like, it's partially I'm a radio. I have to allow what experience I want in, so I have to stop blocking things and just allow the world to bring to me what it brings to me, but all the while just loving on myself, loving what's coming, loving what's happening, gonna happen. But really the happening is where it all happens. You got to be in the moment. You got to be conscious of your breath. You got to be conscious of your emotions. And when you get used to that, then you can do that walking across this grass field. And you let some things come in your mind. I mean, I'm never not letting anything come in my mind, but as things do, you just know it's magical and you feel it coming out of the ethers. It's like, I get so much more done in my life with my time by myself than I ever could have dreamt of when I was busy all the time. So people say, well, I'm going to get not busy. Not busy is fine. But really what you got 24 hours in a day. And the more you get this tuned in, tapped in, turned on thing going, the less sleep you need too. It's a magical thing. But not that I'm telling anybody do less sleep and that's how you know you'll be magical. No, you need a lot of fruit. You don't need to sleep as much, but you do have to eat a lot more fresh vegetables and fruit because you can't keep the energy right. It makes a difference. You got to feed yourself right, treat yourself right, and you got to take a lot of time, wasted time, all by yourself. You don't have to be out here in the woods. You could put this as this tree right here in my hand could be a potted plant sitting right next to you on the windowsill. It doesn't matter. It's where's your mindset? And are you putting everything down and allowing whatever comes into your mind happen? And as I always say, just then loving on yourself, loving on what you've done, loving on what you've always going to do, and loving on who you're going to be without working about the details, just feeling it, feeling the love and the worthiness. So I haven't been out here for a couple of days, so this one's 15 minutes. I think we'll call that a wrap. But anyway, not a real strong cohesive point, I don't think, but it's just a reminder. Anyway, and a great view, so gotta love that. All right, guys, see ya.